This video is going to help us find the equation of the line when we're given the slope and a point that that line actually passes through. So this equation is going to have a slope of -3/4, and it tells us that it passes through the point 3, -2. So notice that we are given a point and the slope, and there's a formula for the equation that we're going to use when given a point and the slope, and that is called point-slope form. So the point-slope form of a line is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and this y1 here is going to be the y value of the point you're given. So this will end up being our y1 right here, so -2 in that case. And our x1 right here is going to be the x value of the point that we're given. And then the m is the slope we're given. So this is going to be our m up here. So what we're going to do is plug this in, and we want to leave the y here and the x alone because that's going to be what creates our equation. And then we're going to plug in the other three things. We're going to be careful about plugging in negative signs and making sure we put parentheses around everything to make sure our signs work out correctly. So this is going to be y minus y1, which is -2. So we have a minus from the formula, and then we also have a -2 from y1. So be careful there. This is going to equal our slope. Our slope is -3/4. And then x minus x1 in this case is 3. Now, usually we don't want to leave it in this format. We really want to get it into y equals format or the slope and y-intercept format. So we're going to do some simplifying here. We're going to have y and then two negatives make a +2. And then be really careful when you're doing this distribution. So we've got -3/4 times x, which is -3/4 x, and then -3/4 times -3. And I think I want to just come over here to the side and make sure everyone understands how to do that calculation. So this is -3/4 times -3. Now, this can be written a number of different ways, and if you have a calculator, I would just say to make sure to put parentheses around both of these to make your life easier, and your calculator will usually simplify that. But if you wanted to know a little bit more insight into what's happening here, this is a fraction and times a whole number, but we can actually make that whole number a fraction as well. Okay, and then another thing that students often ask me is, where does the negative sign go? So if it's just hanging out front, you can either put that negative sign in the numerator or the denominator. I normally put it in the numerator just because I think it's easier. And it's more standard for these types of problems. So when you have two fractions like this, you're just going to multiply straight across the top. So we have -3 times -3, which gives me +9. And then we're going to multiply straight across the bottom. 4 times 1 is 4. So we end up getting 9/4, and that should be what you get in your calculator if you were to do this. We are going to leave it as improper just because that's kind of the format we're going to leave it in for all of these problems, and that will help us out actually in the next step. So this is going to be +9/4. Now, again, we want to get y by itself. We have the +2 over there, so we are going to subtract 2 on both sides. And now we're going to add like terms. So this is going to be y. The 2 minus 2 cancels. I'm going to bring down our -3/4 x. And then we need to do this calculation. And again, we're going to come over to the side. You can certainly do this in your calculator, making sure that you have parentheses here. But be careful because this is actually -2. So you would not want to put parentheses around that like you did the multiplication. Okay. So if we're subtracting 2 and we need this to have a denominator of 4, this is going to become 9 minus 4, or 9 over 4, minus something over 4. And we already have a 2 there. So this is really 2 over 1. If I multiply the bottom times 4, or the denominator times 4, then I have to multiply the numerator times 4 as well, and I end up getting 8. And in order to subtract fractions, we're going to do 9 minus 8 and get 1. Oops, sorry about that. 1 and 4 will be our denominator. Again, you can do this in the calculator pretty quickly. So this is going to be plus 1/4. And so we can see, let's just double check, this slope should be the same slope that you started with, and it is. And then this would end up being your y-intercept. So that would actually be your y value of your y-intercept. So this would be your equation that you would have for this line. And I hope that was helpful in seeing how to work this problem.